Hey there, this is Gig Pata doing a review of the upcoming movie, The Marvels. One of the things that we have to mention is that The Marvels has a lot of people have low expectations is because there's a very little marketing, well, very limited marketing that's actually coming out for The Marvels itself. And so a lot of people think the film is actually endangered somehow with bad publicity and so on. But that is actually creating a low bar, and so we will actually see what it actually results. Anyways, in my opinion, before watching this film, I wasn't really a fan of Captain Marvel, and then there was also the character by Teyonah Parris, who plays Monica Rambeau from the WandaVision series, and then Iman Vellani for Kamala Khan from the so-called Ms. Marvel series. Anyways, what the entire point is my issue with Captain Marvel in the first film was that Goose basically was the best thing out of the film. Goose being a flirkin like a cat, like I actually have here. If you have to brag that the cat is the best thing out of the film, then maybe it's not a good film. Now, once again, the marketing for the Marvels itself did the exact same thing, where they are actually promoting cats this time. So that means that there's actually several flirkins per se into this new upcoming film for the Marvels, and that does not bode well as a sign for itself, because in the end, what can we actually say? Do we actually say that the cats is the best thing? Well, let's find out. So the story for the Marvels is uniting three superheroes, Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan together as the Marvels, it all ties together, all because of some kind of space-time jump has gone awry from the villain that's actually played by by Zawe Ashton, who plays Dar-Ben in this case. So because of that space time jump, every time they use their powers, they jump into each other's bodies and so on. So it's almost like a body switching type of scenario. It is meant to be a comedy. It's supposed to be funny and so on, but the story itself doesn't really explain how that actually worked, except that the villain actually had one of the bracers that comes in a pair, and the other bracer is with Ms. Marvel or Kamala Khan. So technically, you don't have to watch the two TV series or the previous movie to understand the plot, but it does actually help to create a little bit of background with a lot of these characters. The story itself, the movie itself, is one of the shortest movie in the MCU, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe thus so far. However, how it came out feels a lot like a TV series. It almost feels like it wasn't really made to be seen on the big screen, and it should have been made for an 8 to 10 episode. And that's because the film itself was almost every scene felt like its own episode. There wasn't really much of a connection between each other. For example, there was a scene where they go to a planet and everyone talks in a singing voice and dancing and so on. And it was a really oddball type of scene that you either really laugh at it or it's very cringeworthy in its own way. And there's even a scene, and once again, I will have to say, the cats stole the show. There's even a scene with the cats where the flirkins and the flirt kittens will try to save people, and I don't want to spoil it in their own way, but the cuteness overload will create plenty of memes out there for the Marvels. So you either, if you love cats, then you probably love that. If you love musicals, then you probably love that. Heck, there was even a training montage between the Marvels, trying to get used to what's actually to them, and it was either very amusing or very cringeworthy, and you're trying to figure out why this is in the movie. In fact, a lot of stuff you will try to figure out why is in the movie, and you would question why a lot, why we are watching this film in the first place. In addition, one of the things that Dar-Ben, the villain itself, the Dar-Ben is actually hell-bent on getting revenge against Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers because of something that actually happened in the past. We've seen this plot before. She has like some kind of diabolical plan that may or may not destroy the universe. And this type of storytelling is very tiresome now. So, not to mention that there's nothing really special about Dar-Ben. I'm actually surprised that she could hold herself against three superheroes. But in the end, Dar-Ben will probably go down in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the most forgettable villain that has ever entered this comic book movies. In fact, after you watch the Marvels, you probably, I want to say in a few days, will try to figure out, like, wait a minute, who is the villain of the Marvels? And why do we even need a villain at all for the Marvels? Samuel L. Jackson comes back as Nick Fury. He's funny in this one. He just cracks a lot of jokes, which is quite different from the most recent Disney Plus series, Secret Invasion, where he was quite in a much more serious mode. So it almost seems like we're not even sure which Nick Fury we're actually getting in the MCU anymore. The Marvels itself, whether you are a Marvel fanboy, you would probably, despite what I say, you probably will love it. Or on the other hand, you could be a Marvel hater, and despite what I say, you probably hate this film with a passion. I want to say this film was in the middle, not quite in the middle, though, lower than average in comparison to a lot of the previous Marvel films. It is not the worst film, but it's definitely not on the upper half of the films. It basically falls in the realms of like Thor: Love and Thunder or Ant-Man and Quantumania, where it just throws a bunch of humorous scenes that are not really connected with each other, and you just throw up your arms, either laughing or trying to figure out what is actually going on. And the science behind the stuff that's actually going on in this film, they don't really carefully explain it. But more than likely, most people will try to watch the Marvels because there is an after the credit, one after the credit, not an end credit, but one mid credit that you can actually check out that hints to a possible future film and sets up the next films because of jumping into multiple universe. Well, anyways, myself, if I have to give a grade to this film, generously, and I say very generously, I would be giving this a C minus. And it is amusing. It's not boring, but the humor, the plot, it just didn't hit its mark. It's not further, it's not faster, and it's not higher, as the slogan actually says. And once again, just like Captain Marvel, if the cats are the best thing out of this film, then maybe it's not so great. Until next time.